Presenting the chocolate touch.
Usually John Midas was a well-behaved kid. He had a comfortable home and parents who loved him. He should have been a nice boy all the time, but he wasn't.
John had one bad fault. He was a pig about candy. Boiled candy, cotton candy, licorice, all sorts. Old-fashioned toffee, Cracker Jacks, lollipops, and above all, chocolate. He devoured them all. John spent all his money on candy and never shared.
On one Saturday, at lunch, Mr. Midas noticed something unusual.
Look, John has spots on his nose. It may be measles. I don't think he has a temperature worry.
I suspect that John has been eating too much candy. Have you been eating candy this morning? Tell the truth.
Well, I had a few cream delights and a little taffy crunch. John's ears grew red as he recited a long list of candy.
No wonder you got spots. I think you need to see Dr. Cranium.
Dr. Cranium was a tall, thin man with a bald head and a gray mustache. He shone his light into John's ears, nose, and mouth.
Too much candy. Gracious me, he seems to be full of candy.
What should we do, Doctor?
I would recommend less candy. An upset stomach can lead to all sorts of complications.
The next day, John walked along the sidewalk to his friend's house. When he spotted something glimmering right in his path, John snatched up the coin and examined it.
On one side of the coin, there was a picture of a boy. On the other side were the letters J.M., which was funny because those letters were John's initials.
John continued on his way, but instead of turning right to Susan's, he turned left. Soon John came upon a store he'd never seen. The front window was filled with candy, and the man behind the counter beckoned John inside.
Don't just stand there in the doorway, John. Come on in. There's a special sale today.
But you see, the trouble is I don't have any money.
What's that you have there?
It's a coin I found for my coin collection.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather have a box of chocolate? That's the only kind of money I take.
Really? A whole box? Yes?
With that, John handed the storekeeper his money and dashed towards home with the candy box.
That night, John rushed to get ready for bed so he could try his new candy. When he was finally alone, John opened the box to reveal a single piece of plain chocolate. John ate it. It was the most chocolatey chocolate he had ever encountered.
John woke up late the next morning and hurried to get ready for school with his sister Mary. When John brushed his teeth, however, something strange happened. Why does my toothpaste taste like chocolate?
Silly. Of course it isn't chocolate.
Yummy.
Mom, look, John is eating all the toothpaste.
That morning, John's toothpaste and entire breakfast tasted like chocolate. His mother and sister did not believe him, but it was true. John thought about these strange changes as he entered his classroom.
Children, we will be having a very important arithmetic test this morning. I will write 4 problems down on the board, and you will only have a short time to complete them.
May I get a drink of water?
Quickly, we will begin in just a moment. John gratefully headed for the water fountain. His mouth was dry and had a strong chocolate taste. The only problem was that the water turned to chocolate as soon as it touched John's lips. John tried all the water fountains, but his problem continued. 5 minutes remaining.
John hurried to sit down and complete his arithmetic test. He thought hard and nibbled on the end of his pencil. With horror, John watched his entire pencil turn to chocolate.
1 minute.
But Miss Plimsoll, my pencil's turned to chocolate.
Hush, John. I'll talk to you after class.
Sadly, John was unable to finish his test, and Miss Plimsoll did not believe his explanation, as his chocolate touch was certainly getting him into lots of trouble.
At lunch, John tried to drop the food straight down his throat without touching his lips. It didn't help. Everything he ate turned to chocolate. He was getting a stomachache. John's trouble seemed to be worsening because his glass and utensils all turned to solid chocolate.
After such an awful morning, John trudged slowly to the orchestra practice.
Oh, John, I'm glad you are not absent. We are having our first joint rehearsal of a boy's song. Do you remember when your little solo begins?
Right after the second verse after the line, "That's the way for Billy and me."
John knew every note perfectly. He had practiced his part for every evening for the last 2 weeks. Good, remember, this is a happy song, so I want you to play light and lively. Let's begin.
Miss Quaver moved her batons and the cymbals clashed. The violinist and cellist made their ringing and lumping sounds. All were in perfect musician. After the second verse, John wet his lips and began to play his solo.
Mrs. Quaver was speechless. John fled from the room with embarrassment. It was impossible to play a chocolate trumpet.
As John was rushing home, he ran into his father.
"You're home early today. What happened?"
John burst into tears. He told his father about his terrible day.
You mean to tell me they really turned to chocolate? You're sure you didn't imagine some of this? Oh no, it's true. Well, we're only a couple blocks from that pianist service. Not that I ever noticed one day. Suppose we'll stroll right out that man a few questions about his chocolates. But when they arrived at the place where the candy store was, there was only an empty lot with a sign that said "For Sale." I think we better pay a visit to Dr. Cranium before we go home.
Dr. Cranium tried to give John some medicine, but the medicine and spoon turned to chocolate. Dr. Cranium diagnosed John with chocolatitis. At home, his mother was very concerned by the news from the doctor.
The doctor said it was chocolate. Everything people do is not is chocolate.
My poor boy, what are we going to do?
It's all right, Mother.
John knew that really nothing was all right, but he did not like to see his mother so upset. He leaned over to give her a silent kiss on the cheek. John suddenly opened his eyes when his lips felt sticky. His mother was a chocolate statue. John ran from the house and headed directly for the candy store.
I was just thinking of you.
Remember the old coin I found he gave you? I ate the chocolate and made that everything that touches my mouth turns to chocolate, and I kissed my mother and now she's chocolate, and I've got to change her back.
Easy now.
I can't calm down. It's all your fault. If my mother isn't better again, I'll fight you till you're dead.
My goodness, I'm glad to hear you are thinking of your mother, but I must have completed honesty.
John's ears reddened. It was becoming unmistakably evident to him that he had only himself to blame for all his unhappiness. "I'll do anything. I'll work for you all my life for nothing if you'll turn my mother back."
You were right when you guessed that I had something to do with your chocolate touch, but you yourself earned the coin that bought it. Only green people can even see that kind of money. You did have a sort of chocolatitis, but it was just an outward sign of selfishness.
"My mother, she's turned to chocolate. Oh, please do something about it."
Well, John, if you had choose between getting rid of your chocolate touch and restoring your mother to life, which would it be? John couldn't help imagining a future of all chocolate meals, but then he thought of his mother, a motionless statue.
"Help my mother."
John, I'm going to give you another chance.
All the items that had turned to chocolate will return to normal again. No one will remember what happened.
What about my mother?
Why don't you run along home and find out?
And that's just what John did. He rushed into the house and found his mother preparing supper in the kitchen. John flung his arms around her waist.
John, you look so flushed. Why don't you have a glass of cold milk?
John took a tin sip of cold milk, and it flowed down his throat, nothing but fresh, clean milk. May I go out for a minute, Mother? I'll be right back.
John rushed back to the candy store to thank the candy store keeper. But there was only a lot. But the lot was empty. A pile of trash surrounded the sign that said,
The end.
Nice job.